I've seen those day in the life of videos of techies and software engineers. You know, the ones with 10 minutes of gourmet cafeteria food, 5 types of free coffee, and 30 seconds of working on a colorful laptop by the beanbag with stunning office views. And just like me, if you thought tech was all about free food and flexibility, then welcome to the reality of a chip test engineer. People think being a chip test engineer is all about clean rooms and glowing blue lights. But in reality, it's 40% debugging, 40% fighting with a probe station, and 20% wondering what the silicon is screaming at you. If you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Madhuri, a semiconductor engineer by profession, and today I'm taking you inside my day as a test engineer. Now, I can't show you the video tour because my lab has got more security than a Swiss bank, but I've got some leaked photos for you. So let's get started. Nobody tells you when you choose this field that you will spend years learning the language of something you cannot see with the naked eye. A chip, a few square millimeters of silicon, and yet inside it, billions of transistors switching on and off millions of times per second, having conversations you have to learn to listen to. Behold the bench. To a normal person, it's a mess of wires. To me, it's a battlefield. This is where we verify if a chip that we spent millions on is a genius or just a very expensive piece of a heater. The anti-aesthetic morning. My morning doesn't start with a meditation session. It starts with a sync meeting. That's where the design team who live in a world of perfect simulations ask me why their masterpiece isn't working in the real world. And my job? To prove that physics is hard and it doesn't care about their feelings. Together, we look at logs that are longer than my grocery list and try to find that one bit that decided to go rogue. Here's my setup. You see that oscilloscope? It's my best friend and worst enemy. I spend hours staring at waveforms. It's called post-silicon validation. Here is where we poke, prod, and see if the silicon survives high temperatures, low voltages, and my general lack of patience. If the wave looks smooth like an ocean, we are winning. If it looks like a heart attack, well, I'm not going home before 9 p.m. Let me take 60 seconds to explain what post-silicon validation actually means, because I think it's one of the most misunderstood parts of the semiconductor industry. When a chip is designed, it goes through months of simulation and verification. The design team runs billions of test vectors, basically test scenarios in software to make sure the logic is correct. This is called pre-silicon verification, and it's incredibly rigorous. But simulation has its limits. It can't perfectly model every real-world effect. It can't model the exact manufacturing variation of a specific batch of silicon. It can't model how a signal behaves when it's running next to a hot metal trace, or what happens when temperature changes the resistance of a wire inside the chip. That's where I come in. Post-silicon validation is the first time the chip meets the real world. And let me tell you, the real world is rude. My setup here is a validation platform. The phones with chips inside are mounted on a test board, connected to my equipment, and I run it through a series of structured tests: functional, performance, power, and stress tests. We push it to its limits deliberately because we need to know, does this chip behave the way it was designed to across all conditions it will encounter in a real phone, in a real person's hands, and in real weather. This box you see here, It's called a Callbox, or in more formal language, a base station simulator. Think of it this way: your phone is constantly talking to a cell tower, negotiating, handshaking, exchanging signals, 4G, 5G, switching between them without you noticing. But in my lab, there is no cell tower, there is no network, there is just a chip and this box pretending to be the entire telecom world. It pretends to be a cell tower, it pretends to be a 5G network, it pretends there's signal, then drops it, then hands it to 4G, then brings it back very convincingly. Why? Because your modern chip, the part of your phone responsible for calls, data, everything wireless, needs to handle all of that without flinching, without dropping your call, without your video freezing mid-sentence. So, before any of that reaches you, it reaches me and this box, and we put it through every awkward, unstable, real-world scenario we can think of. You're welcome. Some of my most important days have been the days when a use case doesn't work as expected, because that's where the real learning happens. The aha moment. The best part of the day, when you finally find the bug. It's usually something simple, like a loose cable or a buggy line of code that someone wrote on a sleepy Friday afternoon. That 2-second feeling of I'm God makes up for 8 hours of I have no idea what I'm doing. And then someone messages asking for that status update, and you're human again. The reality of the grind. The flexibility in tech everybody talks about. In my world, that means being flexible enough to work in the lab until late evenings or maybe even weekend support. Because a test case failed at the last second. It's not fancy. There is no B-roll of me walking through a park. It's just me, this equipment, and the sheer satisfaction of finding bugs and optimizing every milliamp of power and performance on a chip which would have otherwise killed millions of devices. It's a specific kind of high that I don't think any other job replicates, because the problem was real, the stakes were real, and the solution came from your brain, your persistence, your pattern recognition built over years of doing this. That's the thing nobody talks about in those aesthetic tech vlogs. The actual intellectual satisfaction of this work is immense. You're literally finding physical flaws in something that didn't exist 6 months ago. You are the last line of defense before this chip goes into a billion phones. And that's not a small thing. The chips that I've tested will eventually live inside someone's phones, or maybe they already do. Someone who doesn't know my name, who will never think about what's inside their device, who will just use it. Call someone they love, navigate somewhere they've never been, capture a moment they want to keep, and somewhere in there a test I ran, a bug I found, a marginal error I caught before it shipped. That's not on the box, that's not in the review. It doesn't make the highlight reel, but it's there. So no live tours today because the security is tight and I like my work. If you want the free food version of tech, there are plenty of other channels. By the way, the food in my office is great too, but this is the not so glamorous, chaotic life of testing the brains of your tech. If you have enjoyed knowing what it takes to build the hardware inside your smartphone, then do check out my SoC Secrets video too. Hit subscribe if you like tech stories that are raw and real, and I will see you in my next video.